Mrs. Cleveland, if you're there, if you could turn on your video and do a quick audio check.
Can you change my name?
All right, I'm going black.
Princeton Board of Education regular meeting. Please call the roll, Mrs. Petter.
Mrs. Cleveland,
Here.
Mrs. Wider,
Here.
Dr. Hawkins,
Here.
Mrs. Moore,
Here.
Mr. Simons.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. May I have approval of the agenda?
I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and second. Mrs. Petter, please call the roll.
Mrs. Wider,
Yes.
Dr. Hawkins,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Simons,
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland.
Yes.
Motion passes. And now our inspirational message from Lincoln Heights Elementary School. Mr. Burton.
Thank you. As you say, every time this happens, it's the best part of board meetings. You get an opportunity not only be inspired with a great message, but also when you get an opportunity to recognize people. So Lincoln Heights, students from Lincoln Heights School, they're going to spotlight various African Americans, which is so apropos having it be Black History Month, but who have fought hard to make change and by having a seat at the table. So Mr. Lockhart, if you could start this amazing video that was done. Thank you.
A seat at the table. What does it mean to have a seat at the table? It often means there's a seat reserved for those who are considered to have both an influence and power to make decisions and affect change. The table has become a symbol of power, negotiation, and credibility to plot a course for success. Today we will highlight just a few of those who were allowed to have a seat at the table, even though some weren't invited to the table, but they got their way by demanding to have a seat.
Katherine Johnson made the most of the limited educational opportunities for the African Americans. She graduated from college at the age of 18. She began working in aeronautics as a human computer in 1952 after the formation of NASA. Katherine Johnson was honored with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2015. If she had not been given a seat at the table, the calculations that sent astronauts into orbit in the 1960s into the moon in 1969 may not have happened.
Colin Kaepernick was a quarterback in the NFL for the San Francisco 49ers from 2011 to 2016. He led the 49ers to Super Bowl 47 2 years after he started on with them. But in 2016, Kaepernick drew attention for refusing to stand for the national anthem, a form of protest injustice that was adopted by other players and became a hot topic. Kaepernick became the face of Nike's Just Do It 30th anniversary campaign. His phrase says it all: believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. If he had not been given a seat at the table, we would have not seen an unlikely football player
and his leadership and advocacy for equality, and social justice, bringing awareness to all who still undermines racial equality in the United States. Barack Obama was the 44th President of the United States and the first African-American Commander-in-Chief. He was elected to serve 2 terms in 2008 and 2012. He was the son of parents from Kenya and Kansas. He graduated from Columbia University and Harvard Law School, where he was the president of Harvard Law Review. In 2009, he received the Nobel Peace Prize from the Nobel Committee in Norway. On April 29, 2011, President Obama gave the green light to a covert operation in Pakistan to track down Osama bin Laden, who was the mastermind behind 9/11 terrorist attack. If he had not been given a seat at the table, the United States may still be in danger of another foreign terrorist attack. Kamala Harris is the Vice President-elect of the United States. She was reared in a predominantly African-American neighborhood and was brought to civil rights demonstrations as a toddler. Her mother immigrated from India and her father was from Jamaica. She attended Howard University and HBCU and the University of California Hastings College of the Law. If Kamala Harris had not been given a seat at the table, she would not be the first female vice president, African American and Asian American, to hold this position. There are many seats at many tables. We just want to make sure we have a seat at every table.
Wow. Yeah, we thank you for that. It's a very, very good message. So any other comments or anything?
Yeah,
Well,
I was just going to say thank you very much for that presentation. I'm not surprised that Lincoln Heights had a Black History Month program, and it was very good. And by the way, thank you for my T-shirt, not just in February. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm sure maybe next year we'll hear from Sharonville or Springdale or Evendale on Black History Month. Thank you. It was very
And
good.
I can tell you, this is more from my 100 years at Sharonville. They do celebrate February and Black History Month.
well, we know all of our do from the information that we've gotten. They're all celebrating. We do know that.
Yeah, but in addition to celebrating, is it in the curriculum? Are they actually teaching their kids about Black history?
Absolutely.
Good, good. Is that true, Mr. Burton, for all the schools? Every school has a Black History Month curriculum? And not just, but I'm wondering if it's in the curriculum where they're teaching Black history.
Every single school follows the state curriculum, and every single school does an amazing job. And we put all the information that all the schools are doing in the last couple updates. I know the one I sent today, I didn't have it in there, but the previous ones did, and the Friday updates have great, tremendous information about what all the schools are doing. And I'm very, very proud. In fact, today spoke at the Leadership Academy, and that was one of the things we talked about right away, is the great work that's being done. But sometimes, and I've talked about this every single year during this time, and I'm so glad that it's not just February. And all my tweets that I've been putting out this month, I put #history is365. That's what it is. And when you look at the work that's being done with our equity plan across the board, you should see what each school is doing. It's not just action. And we've talked about this before. What you believe in is one thing, but how you behave is something else. It's action. And so we do a great job. I'm very, very proud of the great leaders in our district that are doing wonderful work. And Dawn Bailey, I know you're listening right now. You should be very proud of that video and the kids that were in it, and the people who you chose were so apropos. So thank you, Dawn Bailey, for the great work that you do, and the 4 amazing students that participated in that. I know there were staff behind the video, so thank you for the staff as well.
And I want to thank
I
you,
think
Mr. Burton. I want to thank you, Mr. Burton, for all that you do to make sure that we are diverse and inclusive as a school district. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. The next item on our agenda is the consent agenda approval.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved in second. Mrs. Petter, please call the roll.
Dr. Hawkins,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Simons,
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland,
Sorry, yes.
Mrs. Weider.
Yes.
Motion passes. And on to district business. Item A, approval of the January 2021 financial report. Mrs. Petter. Unless we have a motion, I guess, we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the January 2021 financial report.
Second.
It has been moved and second. Mrs. Petter, comments?
Yeah, just a couple. Again, the January report is running very good with the forecast. We do have one area we're going to spend some time researching a little bit more in detail. It's our purchase services, which is still running behind the budget, the estimate for this year. We are going to dig into each object, find out exactly what's going on there. We think it's a timing issue, but we want to go in and verify that at this time. And as we prepare for the May forecast, so we can get those numbers updated, make sure they're correct. We think it's a timing issue between transportation, substitute consortium. Those are 2 of our really big purchase service expenses. On the revenue side, I guess the only thing I can say there is our big ticket items are coming in fine. Property tax, we're going to see that change in the state foundation. I'll talk about that a little later. And just a reminder of interest income is running low. And so that's a tough thing for us all to see and adjust to. We've had so many years of great interest revenue, but this was projected. We do have it in the forecast. It's just kind of hard to see that go down a little bit, but I know the economy will rebound and we'll be back in a year or 2 with some good revenue in that area. You have your COVID expense report, and 2 of the grants are getting close to having almost all the money spent out. The CRF and the broadband, we did get that extension, as did all districts, to spend that through the rest of this calendar year. The CARES dollars is the 1.23 million that we received, that we are readjusting, as we had planned to spend the majority of that money this summer in a summer school program. But now that we're going to get additional CARES dollars, we're going to spend some of that money a little more quickly. And then some of the general funds expenses that are still coming out for the COVID related. The salary and benefits are the COVID leaves through the end of December. In January, we passed the MOU with the unions. And so we might have some catch up for January numbers as people turn in that leave and we catch up with forms on there. So that number might change a little bit next month, and that will be inclusive of January and February numbers at that time. You have their bank reconciliation, looks good, as well as the investment report. And remember our handy dandy new report for all the credit cards. This was a requirement based on our audit this year that they wanted the board to approve this quarterly. We do it monthly. So
Okay.
that's the January financial report.
Really appreciate all the rules keep changing and the monies keep coming and then having to spend them in a certain amount of time. We really appreciate how you've been, juggling all that and keeping us, taking advantage of our resources and also keeping us solvent. So, other comments?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to add very quickly, just as a reminder to everybody out there watching, with CARES dollars, there is a limit, as Dr. Hawkins just said, of how you could spend the money and how long you have before you have to spend the money. So with that being said, it's tremendous that we receive that money. Just as a reminder, we did lose $2.8 million from state funding. So there's going to be some additional money. It looks like we don't know exactly how much that's going to come in. Call it ESSER 2, CARES Act 2 is basically what it is. And it could be a pretty big number. Now, again, the same rules apply. We only have so much time and you have to spend the money. So you have to spend the money on COVID-related items/issues. So when you talk about closing the COVID gap, which I know all the board is very concerned about, what are we going to do to help kids get up to speed because they've lost a lot of instruction. Even though, again, I think we've done a great job, but all the kids haven't been in school every day. So when we look at some things, we're going to be hiring some additional staff. We're going to be having some different programs. And we will be very, very clear of where that money is coming from. By and large, any new hire or anything new will be from ESSER funds. So I just wanted to be very, very clear on that because I know we're going to talk about that in subsequent meetings. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Mrs. Petter, please call.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say briefly, with all the cuts that we have been facing from the state, that money really does come in handy.
Indeed. Mrs. Petter, please call the roll.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Simons, Mrs. Cleveland,
Yes.
Mrs. Wider,
Yes.
Dr. Hawkins.
Yes. Motion passes. Next item, agreement with Engel for natural gas.
I move to approve the agreement with Engel for natural gas.
Second.
It has been moved and second. Further explanation, Mr. Burton?
Yes, I'm going to ask Mr. Fricke, who's our Director of Operations, to come up and talk a little bit more in detail about this. But this is yet another illustration of what we do and the minutia we kind of uncover to be able to save money and, again, being good fiduciary agents of taxpayers' dollars. Mr. Fricke?
Good evening, everyone. So one of the things that we do, we have an energy consultant, and that consultant keeps an eye on the market, and then they look for opportunities. So our current contract is expiring next April, and they alerted us about an opportunity to lower our costs starting in April of 2022 for 3 years. So what this contract will do is it'll lower our cost. It'll be about a savings of about $3,000 a year for the life of the 3-year contract. But what it'll do in addition to that is it really insulates us from any additional rises in energy costs that are expected over the next several years. So in addition to saving the money, it's also going to insulate us from any further cost increases. So
That's
thank
great.
you very much.
We thank you for continuing to save us money.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate over the last 5 or 6 years. Every contract that we've signed has gone down and down and down, which is not easy to do in a market that's really at a historical low for natural gas cost.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Fricke, you're very kind and you're a gentle soul and you give praise to other people. However, the consultant came and sent an email and you had a conversation, whatever. I know there was a lot of work that had to be done. It wasn't just that simple. Absolutely. So thank you and Todd Kutel and others for really looking at and evaluating and going through our systems. I know it just wasn't very quick decision. So thank you very much. And I appreciate all the detailed work that you do and detailed information you gave us so that we can make an informed decision.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Petter, please call the roll.
Mr. Simons? Yes. Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Wider?
Yes.
Dr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Motion passes. Approval of the contracted service agreement with Butler County ESC.
I move to approve the contracted service agreements with Butler County ESC.
Second. Oh, look.
It has been moved in second. Any comments about that professional development exactly, or any other comments on
It's
that?
just, we partner with different entities that give us the best deal we possibly can get. And this is through an Empower grant, which Dr. Michelle Kokar really took the lead on. And it's great that we were able to, again, use grant funds, not our general fund, although, we have to do that sometimes, but the grant fund specifically to be able to drive instruction. And the ISTE certification is the highest certification you can get from a technology perspective. And really the way that it's being rolled out, we're going to have people take advantage of that. And this is a great opportunity. And looking at things a little bit differently, we're able to maximize all grant dollars. So thank you to Dr. Kokar and her team.
All right. Mrs. Petter, please call the roll.
Mrs. Cleveland,
Yes.
Mrs. Weider,
Yes.
Dr. Hawkins,
Yes,
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Simons.
Yes.
the motion passes. Next item is discussion as an academic update. Mr. Burton?
Thank you. Right now, we're in the midst of coming up with final details for our summer school. And only because it seems like when I first mentioned what kind of summer school we were going to have, I mentioned robust summer school. And when you think of just the true definition of robust, that's exactly what we're trying to do. So it's going to look different. Right now, we're exploring with additional time over the summer for kids to get high school credit. By adding some time to it, we're able to give more credit. That's a good thing. So it's going to be summer school really for all. Some really need to be there. They really do. We're going to make individual phone calls. It's already been done in each building. They've done a wonderful job, the leaders. But when you look specifically at summer school and unpacking everything, it is going to look very, very different. For instance, summer school will be at each school. Now that is a commitment, but it's also, we know that kids can get to their home school easier. They just flat out can't. So instead of being bused to get to an elementary school, Heritage Hill, I know is the school I know where the summer school's been to. Instead of that, they're going to be able to perhaps walk 1 block away and get there. So when you look at transportation and some other obstacles that may exist, we're going to do that. We know that we have some work to do. We do. We've done great things. There's no question. But some of our kids, when you look at that diagnostic tests, they're a little bit further behind than what we want them to be. Those kids, and this is a message to all the parents, I understand 100% the value of taking some time off, of making sure that our kids are enjoying the summer, and maybe they're doing summer reading or perhaps a vacation or going to the zoo or other exploratory opportunities. But quite frankly, and I know I'm going to hear about this, but I'm going to say it anyway, some people have taken vacation already during the school year. We need to care enough to have tough conversations, and we do. Our administrators do a wonderful job, and they have tough conversations. And if we say your son or daughter needs to go to summer school, they need to go to summer school. That's it. No threats, no nothing else. That's it. People make choices in life, and if you choose not to send your child to summer school, I hope that there's a lot of academic work they're doing somewhere else, perhaps at home or maybe a different facility or whatever, but we need to see growth. And we're going to do whatever we can to help your sons and daughters grow, learn both academically, socially, emotionally, mentally. We're going to do whatever we can. If that means summer school, then that means summer school. If that means a different facility, then it means a different facility. If it means extra intervention during the day, it means extra intervention during the day. And I'd say this very humbly and respectfully. When it comes to education, we are the pros. And I've used this metaphor before. I've had knee surgery before, but just because I had knee surgery doesn't mean I'm a surgeon. Everyone's gone to school, but that doesn't make everybody an educator. And it doesn't mean that people can read diagnostic tests. And I say this only because there's going to be lots of phone calls that will be coming up in the next month and a half, 2 months with parents. We care immensely about the academic, social, emotional growth of your child. And I know you do too. We may think it's how your sons or daughters are going to grow, maybe a little bit different, but ultimately you need to trust us. And if you trust us and you're all in and we work together, then the growth is going to happen and you'll see results that will be tremendous. So I say that because there's going to be lots of rolling out of summer school. You're going to hear a lot of conversation about that coming up. And Dr. Phillips, I don't know if you wanted to add anything. If not, that's okay. But if you wanted to add something, I know there's been people that have been working very, very hard behind the scenes. We were in a meeting not too long ago where there was great conversation going on. And when we asked deep embedded questions of what it would look like, they had all the answers and then some. It was amazing. And so to senior parents, we're going to do everything that we can to make it the commencement and graduation very positive and try to bring everybody together. We certainly hope that's going to be the case. Right now, our graduation venue is still Fifth Third Arena, and there's really tight restrictions still there. We would not be able to host graduation as we had before there. We would not be able to do it. So we're hoping that with all the vaccines, and today we got great numbers in the state. First time in months and months and months, we were below 2,000 COVID cases. That's very, very positive. It's very positive in Hamilton County right now as well. We have to stay on the grind, keep wearing masks, make good decisions, and hopefully they're going to lift some of the restrictions so that we can have this beautiful graduation. For those senior parents, and perhaps your son or daughter is right on the cusp of graduating or not graduating, please make sure you're constantly contacting the school and that your son or daughter is as well. Our counselors, our teachers, our administrators are working overtime to make sure everybody crosses the finish line, if you will. So please make sure you stay in constant contact, but look for more information about summer opportunities, and we're gonna get it done. That is my report. Thank you.
Okay.
Tom, are we including all grades and all academic levels?
All grades, all levels. Mm-hmm. Now, some has to still be unpacked. That's what I said earlier, right?
I'm not asking
so
for
we're
details.
doing that. Yeah, I just want to say it because I don't want any parents saying that we have everything, all the plans done. The administrators and teachers and everybody's working hard. We still have to hire staff to get it done. And we want to hire our own staff, but our own staff has been working overtime for a long time. And so, we need to make sure that we can staff it, but I feel very confident that we're going to be able to. And again, we're going to be able to do some really creative things. And already I'm thinking of a high school program right now that Principal Ballmer talked about, and it's definitely outside of the box thinking, and it's great. And we feel it's going to be huge for kids. They're going to really love it. And we're trying to work through some of the details with it. And that's just one example. And obviously we're going to have some basic instruction that we're going to need. And we're going to try to have some other instruction. We're going to push kids really at high levels. And we're thrilled to be able to offer these programs. We still have some work to do with them, but I have great confidence that we're going to have, again, this robust summer school. And just for some of my friends out there that poke fun at me for robust, I just encourage everybody to look up the definition of robust, the very first definition. Doesn't matter where you look, the very first definition, and you tell me if you want to be proud of Princeton for offering a robust summer school. Thank you, Dr. Hawkins.
Dr. Hawkins, I have a question, please.
You need to further define it in case those people aren't running to their dictionaries right now, so they know.
Well, I'm trying to inspire people to learn.
Well,
There's more.
I have a question, Dr. Hawkins. May I?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Burton, you mentioned that summer school will be at your own neighborhood school. And I was just wondering, when it comes to transportation, is that something that's normally provided during summer school? Or do we never provide transportation during summer school anyway, do we?
Transportation will be provided this summer.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, so our next item of discussion is our 21-22 school calendar. This is the first reading of that. It's a time, if you have questions or comments that you want to point out, now's a good time for that.
On the calendar,
Yes.
the dates of summer school, I know we haven't worked out details, but we might have it in the parentheses, so what's the time frame for that?
Yeah, this calendar is for next year. So when you look at,
Academic year.
when you look at the dates, I know Dr. Phillips and I talked earlier today specifically about making sure that we put the dates in there. Now, high school, summer school is going to look a little bit different. We know than the middle school, it's going to look a little bit different than the elementary. So we'll make sure that's put in here for next year. And then we'll make sure this year that we will clearly get all that information out as soon as all the details are done.
Okay. Anything else noted on the calendar that you see as a possible change or? Okay. All right, you have more time to look at it because we'll have the second reading at the next meeting, so. All right. So our next item is we're going into executive session for the purposes of discussion of personnel, hiring, evaluation, and retention.
Dr. Hawkins, I apologize for interrupting.
Yes.
You said the treasurer's report
Oh,
and the superintendent's report.
I sure did. Just skipped right over those. Wonder why. I'm sorry about that. Treasurer's report.
Great. I just have 3 items, and I was afraid people were going to ruin what my exciting topic to talk about because I have like good, better, and best here. And the first good news is that the governor did sign an executive order to return some of the cuts from this fiscal year. So we originally were cut 1.4 million. Now our cut will be about 635,000. So that's some really good news. And that's in the current year we're in. Then the better news is the ESSER II dollars. So we have a projected number right now, and it's very projected, but it's 6.2 million. That's a pretty big projection. We don't have exactly the rules we have to spend this money yet. And the state doesn't have the system set up so we can put our plan in, but they're working very quickly and very hard. So we hope by the end of February, the new system's in place. And it will be in our CCIP system, which we're all really used to using with all our grants, but to get in there and work on that. I know Michelle Kokar and others are working feverishly to put their list of to-dos together to spend this money because that's a lot of money. And if it comes in anywhere near that, it's still a lot of money. But we have a lot of good work to do, and now we have a lot of money to do all that great work. And so that will be a fun challenge. We have until September 30th, 2023 to expend these funds. So we have a couple years, and we certainly will get a lot of great things done with this money.
Excellent.
But the best news, as I've been stalking the state's website, waiting, and Princeton did get the state award distinction again for their audit. So our certificate should be coming, but I just couldn't wait. I kept looking every day to see when our name would show up. So
State award of distinction.
that's the best news.
Yes.
That's good.
Well, congratulations to us. Yeah.
So yes, big team effort to make sure everybody's following all the rules and the processes and procedures we put in place. So I will have to ask the board to next meeting to approve another appropriation certificate so we can get some of that ESSER2 money ready, because I know my team here, as soon as we know what to do, we'll be ready to spend it. And I have to make sure the board has approved that. And
Okay.
we did get another small grant, Parent Mentor Project Supplemental, $2,000. So that's just a little bit of money we have to put in a different fund to spend. And just ask you to approve that next meeting.
Okay.
And maybe there'll be more by then too.
We look forward to that. Congratulations to us, to you, for taking us to that distinguished award of distinction. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good, better, best.
And now
I
our,
have a different order, but still, that's good.
our superintendent's report.
Thank you. And I'm going to piggyback on something Chris had said. You know, one of the things that she was probably referring to me about ruining the surprise, because I love numbers and I love positive numbers. And so Chris and I get a lot of the same information via email and so forth, but she's certainly more in the know than I am. I opened up an email and it said projected for the student wellness dollars. And so I clicked on it. Before I even finish reading it, I call Chris. When I see ESSER2, before I finish reading all that, I call Chris. And Chris does an amazing job of making sure that she calms me down when I get too excited, because sometimes the governor may say you're going to get more money than what you do. So, because I've already spent it. Like if I know like at $6.2 million, I wish we had 7 million. Like I just want more. But I will tell you that the amount of money that's coming in will be spent quickly for a couple of different reasons. One is because the need is real, the need is great, and the need is deep. There's no question. We can't just do it by saying, voila, we're going to have more work on the same people. We can't possibly do that. When you look historically at Princeton, there are positions which hadn't been filled in several years. When you look at what we're trying to accomplish and having our principals be instructional leaders, well, from an elementary perspective specifically, when you look at some of what happens each and every day, there's a lot of getting pulled out and dealing with certain issues. So we're going to really be very direct with what we're going to do by taking some things off plates of people to have them be more instructional leaders. I should say more because they're doing a great job, but sometimes they get pulled away dealing with stuff. There's also, from a social emotional perspective, we've got to deal with some of the social emotional needs of our students when they transition back. When we look at some of our students that like knock it out of the park, that do great things, and we need to continue to encourage that, and we need to support that and provide more opportunities for them to grow and be pushed and developed. The students that are on perhaps the other end that need additional intervention, we need to provide some additional support there. So we will be hiring more teachers. We'll be coming up with a different program. We're going to look at administrators at a couple different levels to be able to pull some work off of some of the principals, specifically elementary. When you look at somebody coordinating student services, when you look at some additional support from paras, the paras that we have in the district do yeoman's job. They're amazing at what they do, but we need additional support. When we want to be fast, fluid, and flexible when we're making decisions, and if kids need help and support, we're going to provide that. We need to provide additional support with transportation to eliminate that obstacle of getting kids maybe to programs on the weekend or in the evening or what have you. We are going to do whatever it takes by providing just the top of the line educational programming. And we can do that we have amazing staff right now. We're going to continue to hire amazing staff. Dr. Jameson does a tremendous job with hiring and the process behind it. And again, we have great confidence in the leaders in the district. So with that being said, let me jump into a few other details very quickly. Just to remind everybody, Princeton will be participating in the vaccination program this Thursday. Springdale and Heritage Hill got their shots on Friday. Remember, central office is home basically to every school in the district. We work in every single school in district. So a couple of us went to Springdale, got their vaccination. I did, and just everybody out there, we got the Moderna. They did a wonderful job. Thank you to Springdale Health Department. It was very smooth, effortless. It was probably about 20-minute total signing in. Had to answer a couple questions, got the shot. I was watched for 15 minutes, and then I was able to leave. There was very, very slight soreness in my arm, but not too much that I was able to work out that day. So we're hearing a lot of different things about the second shot. We'll see what happens. But ultimately, it was a very smooth process. We're going to have about 700 employees, which is including our great transportation partner, First Student. And we'll have them all here at Viking University. We'll still go on, but at Viking Village is where we're going to have the vaccination. That same day, we have agreed to and partnered with Hamilton County Educational Service Center in Kroger to provide a site to allow other vaccinations to happen for other schools. So our PAC Center will be the site there. And we feel that we've had great partners. We've had great opportunities to be involved in state research. We're called upon quite a bit. And quite frankly, you know, it's really our honor to be asked and to take part and try to help the greater good. So we have about 1,200 people that are going to go through PAC Center on Thursday as well. So that's for vaccinations. And again, certainly appreciate everybody and the partners at Mercy Fairfield. Myself and John Fricke had an opportunity, and Tanya Terrell, to meet with the Mercy Fairfield people today and go through all the process and whatever. And actually, John and Tanya got everything all worked out. And then I came in afterwards and did a bunch of high fives. Just kidding. No high fives, some fist bumping. And we actually came up with a few different ideas, but we're really excited about doing that. A while ago, Tricia Roddy and I were asked about media people in Cincinnati who are fair, who do a very good job and cover whatever it is, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever story, but they really do a good job for like exemplary service, fairness, equitable. And we nominated Andrea Medina from Fox 19, and it's a nomination process, and she did get the award. So she's the Ohio School Board Media Honor Roll and recognizes Andrea Medina. And we called her today to let her know that. Her name was also published in the School Board Journal in the back. So it was our honor to do that. And you know, I'm sure she's going to be very excited when she listens to the message, but it's well-deserved. And we appreciate her fairness. And she's always been, again, very good, even in tough situations. And that's what you want. You want people that are going to be fair. I mentioned Viking University. That's Thursday. It's going to look a little bit different this year, being virtual. But our teachers show up all the time to help present. Dr. Phillips, how many presentation slots do we have? 92. 92. And how many staff? How many staff sessions? Yes.
Probably about
6. It's just amazing. And again, it's a very difficult year, and people want to give and they want to share, and they do a wonderful job. Express feedback for good for all those people that are out there that haven't had an opportunity to do so. Please make sure you text them. You need a little bit of help on this. PCSD to 31996. And if you do that, you're going to be able to fill out this quick profile. They don't share any information, but here's the best thing. It took me cumulatively about an hour and 20 minutes, hour 30 minutes to do 75 surveys. We get $150 just by doing 75 surveys. You get $2 per survey. Right now, we've raised about $12,000 for summer school. We can raise up to $50,000. We need everybody to step up. I'm not asking you to go door to door to sell cookies. I'm not asking you to call your next door neighbor and your friends to maybe buy some cookie dough or whatever. All I'm asking you to do is while you're sitting down watching television in a show maybe you don't even care about, pull your phone out text PCSD to 31996 and fill some surveys out. It'll make your heart feel good to do it, and you can go back up to 3 to 6 months for anything that you could think of is in there. A lot of local stores are in there, but if you could please do that, we'd appreciate it. And lastly, and most importantly, as I mentioned earlier, Black History Month. And I'm, again, so very, very proud of what's going on throughout the district. But I love the intentionality of the fact that Black history is not just in February. That is critical for us to understand. When we recognize other groups and other, like the Hispanic History Month, and you have all that, it is not just one month. It is not just a month. And that's why when I tweet tomorrow morning, I'll be walking on a track someplace or working out in the gymnasium, and I'm going to see this great quote, and I'm going to tweet it out. And it's going to say hashtag Viking Diff and hashtag history is 365. That's what it is. And again, if you guys aren't on social media, I would encourage you to do so, parents. There's so much great work that's being done, and it's tweeted out all the time or put on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. I tell you, the intentionality of what's going on in each building, it's amazing. So thank you to all the principals for the great work you do, for supporting your teachers who really are doing great work around equity, great work this month, specifically around Black history, but we cannot let it stop in February. I talked to Principal Ballmer today, and we were talking about the shirts. And so every Friday for Board of Education, every Friday, the goal is to wear those shirts. Again, not just February. So in March, that first Friday in March, we need to wear it too, to really illustrate it is not just February. And if you look at the great contributions around, it's really been incredible. Thank you, Dr. Hawkins.
Thank you. And so we will keep wearing our shirts, not just in February.
And I see Mrs. Moore has hers, Dr. Hawkins has hers, and I have mine on today. So
So beginning.
And then
Thank you for all of the other information that you've given us about the Viking University and also the vaccination program. So thank you for that.
Dr.
And I might
Hawkins.
add, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, I might add that March is Irish American History Month, and I did my DNA, and I got about 18% Scottish Irish in me. So therefore, I hope that we also give equal time to Irish American History Month in March. Thank you.
Well, there you go, Gina. My great-grandmother, Maggie McGinn, came from Ireland in her teens.
There you go. We could be cousins.
We're twins.
Okay. Mr. Simons.
I just wanted to say that I would love to wear my shirt, but it only fits half my body.
I'm sure that there can be some adjustments made.
I need at least a 2XL.
Get that man another shirt.
What showed up in the mailbox was, I gave that away to my spouse.
That was not the, okay, all right.
I'm sure they can handle that.
We'll get you one that fits you.
Okay, we do have big and tall in the district, just in case anybody's wondering.
I thought that shirt was big and tall. But
Before the dryer,
the right one.
Before the washer and dryer.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. We wanted to give you a clean shirt. That's what it was.
All right. All right. So we are going into executive session for the purposes of personnel under the Ohio Revised Code 12122, Section G, Section 1. When we return, there will be no additional action, but we will return after our time. So I move that we go into executive session at this time.
Second.
It has been moved and second. Mrs. Petter, would you call the roll?
Mrs. Wider,
Yes.
Dr. Hawkins,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Simons, Mrs. Cleveland.
Yes.
And that motion passes. Do the two of you have the information you need for joining us?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And we will see you shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, there's one. Mary?
I'm here.
Let's see. Okay. All right. At this time, at 8:15 PM, I move that we adjourn our executive session.
Second.
Seconded.
It has been moved in second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? All those opposed? That motion passes. And at this time, 8:16 PM, I move that we adjourn the meeting for tonight.
I seconded.
It has been moved in second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? The meeting is adjourned. We thank you, Vike Nation, for joining us. Be safe. Go Vikes.
Happy Black History Month.